All right, so today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind a little bit lately, and that is Dungeons and Dragons. So, got the new movie coming out. Excited about that, but I've also just recently discovered Critical Role. Um, if you haven't heard of that, it is self-described as a group of nerdy-ass voice actors getting together and playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Welcome to tonight's episode of Critical Role, where a bunch of us nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons.
And it's amazing. Love it to death. Can't get enough of it. But that got me thinking. I'm not a big board game enthusiast. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before. Why do I love this so much? And I got to thinking about it, and it actually makes a lot of sense that there's a ton of similarities between Dungeons and Dragons and a lot of my favorite fantasy books. For one, I'm a huge Cosmere nerd, Brandon Sanderson fan, and one of the major, foundation points of a Cosmere novel is the magic system. It has a lot of rules. Like, there's a ton of memes out there about this. It's heavily rule based. And a lot of that influence actually comes from Brandon Sanderson playing Dungeons and Dragons back when he was in college and things like that. He learned all these things and has incorporated that into his writing style. And it's this idea of you have a certain set of rules, and then you have to find creative ways to use those rules to solve problems. Instead of other types of magic you see in books where it's like magic just happens and we have a problem, and the problem may be a creative problem and they may solve it in a creative way, but the magic part of it just happens. That doesn't do it for me. I like the hard magic rules, and then how smart can we be to figure out how to use these rules in a creative way to overcome an obstacle that they really shouldn't be able to, but creatively they do. So that's one key similarity that they share. Another one of my favorite books here lately has been Kings of the Wild, and this is a straight up D&D campaign. If you haven't read it, highly suggest you go check it out. Great book. But basically what they have in that really draws me to that book is the camaraderie. Like, you have a band of guys getting together, and each with their own specialties and skills, and they go out and fight stuff. Like, it's just wonderful. Just the camaraderie between the characters and this banding together. It makes for a really good story. And that's what you see in, like Critical Role and watching a D&D campaign. It's a group of friends literally getting together and, going to fight stuff. I mean, it's really good. Another one I've been enjoying lately is Joe Abercrombie, and just the consequences, let's put it that way, in his books is phenomenal. Like, characters stay true to their character and make decisions as their characters, and those decisions have consequences. And that's just something I love about a good, well-written novel. To me, is one where decisions have consequences. Not everyone's going to live. Like, if you do something stupid to someone with a big sword, there's a good chance you're gonna die. Like, I like those kind of books. Give me a Game of Thrones where nothing's off the table. Anyone can die at any moment. And with D&D, there's no way around that. Everything lives and dies by the roll of the dice. Like, you have a certain set of odds, and you may get lucky or you may not. You may get very unlucky. And however it rolls, that's how the story plays out. That's not like, that's unlikely, but I need it to happen because I want my story arc to go in this certain way. No. You roll the dice and it goes that direction. And that sense of anything can happen adds so much tension to a story, whether it be D&D or a novel. Like, I want tension. I want to be scared for the characters that I have now fallen in love with. It's a thing. Because one of my absolute pet peeves when reading a book is when something improbable happens again and again and again for the sake of the plot. That is just, it will take me out of a story so fast. Because I talk a lot about believability, and I get some sideways looks when talking about that with fantasy, because, like, there's a dragon and we turn gravity on and off when we want to. You eat metal and control people's emotions. Like, that's believable? Yes. In the certain book. Like, when you start a book, you give me the world and the rules of that world, and I go there. All right? Whatever fits in that world, I'm game. I believe it. But when you start doing things in that world that don't fit in that world, you can get thrown out of it so quick, and it's not fun. So that's why I think that a lot of authors would benefit greatly from learning a little D&D, or maybe just get some dice put next to your computer while you're writing, and your character does something crazy, like attack a big monster or something. Well, how's it turn out? I don't know. Let me roll the dice and find out. Just add some chaos and some chance to the story and see where it goes. Like, create a world, create some characters, and then just let them have it in a sandbox and just see what happens. And I've really, really been enjoying that type of storytelling, whether it be in D&D or in books or in movies or in TV shows, whatever the medium is. I want consistency with my characters' decisions, and I want choices to matter and have consequences. If those are the kind of things that you like, 1, read the books that I mentioned. 2, go check out Critical Role. Like, it's surprisingly good to me, someone that's never played D&D a day in my life. So go check those things out, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see y'all in the next one.